Okay, let's unpack this one. We're doing a deep dive today into what looks like a simple 1-1 soccer scoreline. UNC Charlotte 49ers versus Rice University Owls. But this draw, it really wasn't about luck, was it? It felt more like a battle of wills, a clash of tactical ideas, and yeah, it had that late match drama.
Absolutely. The source materials we have are, well, they're incredibly detailed. They break down the formations, player movements, and even, the psychological side of those late decisions.
Right. So our mission today really is to get past just the play-by-play. We want to pull out the core tactical lessons here
Okay.
and show you exactly why certain strategies worked or maybe didn't quite work in this real nail biter. We're hunting for those key insights hidden in the data.
Yeah, it's a brilliant case study in contrast, isn't it?
Hmm.
You've got Charlotte, their priority is stability, organization, like total defensive focus almost. And then Rice just comes at them, high intensity, high risk pressure, throwing everything forward.
And the fact it ended 1-1.
Exactly. It tells you both approaches landed some punches, you know, right when the other side maybe just momentarily slipped up.
Okay, good point. So let's start with the Charlotte 49ers plan. When you break down their setup, what was the main thing for them?
Organization. Definitely organization first and foremost. Their strategy was, heavily defensive. They knew they could be vulnerable on set pieces, so job number one was avoid fouls near their box, maintain shape, rigid structure. It was all about managing the game, avoiding those unforced errors.
Sounds very risk averse,
Yeah.
calculated. But how did they plan to actually score if they're so focused on defense?
Well, they had a couple of main ideas there. One was speed, pure pace from Megan Bradley, get her the ball quickly with 3 balls, try to isolate her. The other lever was getting their eights involved. That's Reese Black and Grace Keeley. The plan was for them to push into dangerous spots and, test the keeper from distance. Kirsten Ruff, the Rice goalie, relatively inexperienced.
Long shots, testing the keeper.
Right, but here's the key thing linking back to structure. Those same midfielders, Black and Keeley, they had huge defensive duties too. They couldn't just bomb forward and stay there. They had to track back hard, make sure the central defense wasn't left exposed when Rice inevitably hit back on the counter.
So quick strikes, long shots, but always that defensive discipline underpinning it.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's flip it, the counterpoint. If Charlotte is all about structure, how did Rice specifically try to blow that up?
Rice was just relentless.
Okay.
Simple as that. They went with a pure high-pressure game. Their goal wasn't just getting the ball back eventually. It was winning it high up the pitch, in Charlotte's half, and bang straight into attack, force quick, bad decisions from Charlotte's defenders.
And their formation played into that.
Oh, massively. The 3-out-2 was crucial. It let them pack the middle of the park, but also use wing backs to really stretch Charlotte wide, attack those outside backs, pull that organized defense apart, and they use a lot of subs. Just kept bringing on fresh legs to maintain that intense pressure nonstop.
Okay, but that raises a question, doesn't it? The source mentions Charlotte did concede from a mistake, a weak pass intercepted, leading to Rice's goal late on. So did the structure fail then?
Not entirely fail, maybe. More like.
Yeah.
It was eventually broken by the sheer physicality of Rice's pressure. Rice definitely targeted Charlotte's main threats, Dumanac and Bradley, marked them tightly. But the real point here is that facing constant pressure for, 30-plus minutes, it's exhausting, physically and mentally. That interception late in the game, probably less a failure of structure and more a technical slip caused by fatigue. That constant harassment just wears you down.
Right, that makes sense. Which leads us perfectly into the players themselves, because the strategy is only as good as the execution, especially under that kind of physical duress. Let's look at Charlotte first. Who really stood out in terms of delivering on that plan, balancing structure and attack?
You have to start with Naroa Dumanac up front. She was vital. Not just because she scored that crucial late equalizer, but her hold-up play was immense. She allowed those midfielders, the eights, time to join the attack. She absorbed pressure. A real physical presence.
And in defense.
Rachel Logue, the grad student veteran, absolutely key back there. She brought experience, composure, dominated aerial duels, especially on set pieces, which, remember, was a big worry for Charlotte. She was the steady hand.
Okay, and what about Bradley, the main speed threat? Did Rice manage to shut her down?
Mostly, yeah. The analysis says she was scouted well and started to get physical. That's where Rice's preparation really showed. They knew about the pace, and they countered it. Used defenders who could handle those physical battles, didn't let her just run into open space. Smart tactics.
Right. Okay, switching to Rice. Who are the key players making that high-intensity system actually work? You need serious athletes for that.
You really do. And tactical brains, too. Defensively, Penelope Rich, The source specifically calls her a tremendous 1v1 defender.
Hmm.
That's vital in a high press because your defenders will get isolated sometimes. Rich could handle that, a direct counter to Bradley's threat.
And further up the pitch.
In midfield, Piper Bezoric, the notes say her value went beyond statistics.
Mm.
And that's often true for these engine room players, isn't it? Maybe not scoring or assisting loads, but her movement, her intelligence, her work rate, she made the whole press system connect and function effectively. And then, of course, Sophie Zhang. She got the crucial first goal, showed that clinical edge when the pressure finally created a clear chance.
Okay, let's get into the specific moments where these tactics really played out, theory into action. I want to jump back to the 4th minute. You mentioned Rice's intent. The sequence was Rice keeper clears long, Charlotte player wins the header, but instantly Rice players are all over them, swarming them, forcing a turnover right near the box. What's happening tactically there?
That's textbook counter-pressing, or Gidgeon pressing, as it's often called. It's slightly different from just a standard high press. A high press is more about dictating play. Counter-pressing is that immediate aggressive reaction right after you lose the ball, or in this case, after the second ball is won by the opponent.
Like a triggered reaction.
Exactly. Less like squeezing them slowly, more like stepping on a mine. The instant Charlotte won that header, Rice players weren't thinking defense. They exploded towards the ball carrier, turned what should have been a routine moment into a dangerous attack by winning that second ball super high up. Incredible commitment.
Sounds exhausting just watching it, probably. Now let's contrast that with Charlotte's approach maybe around the 13th minute. They had that sequence. Shot blocked, immediate follow-up, shot blocked again, then a corner. Much scrappier.
Yeah, and it's almost the tactical opposite of Rice's forced turnover, isn't it? Charlotte was basically saying, okay, if we can't pick you apart neatly, we'll just cause chaos. The analysis calls it creating chaos through high-volume shooting. That's key. Just get the ball into the dangerous area. Force blocks, force reactions, crash the box for rebounds. It wasn't pretty build-up, but by being persistent, by having players ready to follow up, they manufactured a corner from seemingly nothing. Sometimes volume works.
Okay, now the real drama. Late in the game. Let's look at Rice's goal first. 39th minute. It came from that weak pass interception we talked about. Quick counter, and Sophie Zhang scores, capitalizing on a rebound near the goal.
Yeah, this moment just sums up the risk-reward of Rice's whole approach. Their pressure forced that mistake, that tired pass Charlotte wanted to avoid. But the finish itself, it wasn't just about the initial shot. The crucial part was Zhang, the trailing attacker. She didn't stop her run. She kept going, anticipated the chaos, and was right there to tap in the rebound. Clinical punishment of the error, driven by relentless running even late on.
And then, almost immediately, Charlotte hits back. 47th minute. Naroa Dumanac gets the equalizer. This time, a teammate's long shot hits the crossbar. Dumanac is there for the rebound into an open net.
Textbook example of offensive anticipation and pure work rate. Yes, the initial shot was powerful, hit the bar that created the chance. But the goal itself, that was all Dumanac, making that intelligent run, following the play, as coaches always say. She wasn't watching the shot. She was moving into the high probability zone for a rebound. That off-ball work, that anticipation, turned the crossbar hit into a goal, capitalizing when Rice maybe switched off for just a split second.
So bringing it all together, the structure, the pressure, the players, these key moments, what's the main takeaway for someone trying to understand why it ended 1-1?
Well, I think the main thing is that you should see this 1-1 draw wasn't random. It wasn't just, one of those games. It was a direct result of two specific tactical things succeeding. Rice got their goal because their high-pressure transition work, it forced the error, and they were clinical.
Yeah.
Charlotte got theirs through offensive persistence, the chaos shot, and crucially, that immediate anticipation on the rebound, capitalizing on the second ball. Speed, structure, pressure, opportunism.
Right.
They sort of cancel each other out perfectly in the end.
Right. So you now have the language, things like chaos creation, discipline anticipation, Gidgeon pressing, and you've seen concrete examples. You can use these to really break down how this match unfolded, not just the final score, how that drama was built piece by piece.
And maybe one final thought to chew on, something that ties back to those late game moments, the fatigue factor we mentioned. The source notes mentioned a chance around minute 24. An attacker just couldn't execute technically after a long sprint. Now, think about the goals that were scored. Zhang's tap-in, Dumanac's rebound, close range, placement over power. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of success at this level isn't just about the big strategy or raw speed, but about managing fatigue, just having enough left in the tank, mentally and physically, to make that simple pass or be sharp enough for that tap-in right when the pressure is highest. Maybe that's the hidden tactical battle.